Hello, fellow factorians. Factorials? I'm not sure. I'm going to workshop some opening lines, but welcome back to the second episode of my challenge run. I've set up some early raw coal automation, some iron plate automation, and some copper automation down here. All of that will be in service in this episode, I think, to getting science moving. Few things before I get working on that. One thing that I didn't mention during my previous episode was that one of the reasons that iron plate is so hard to come by, and Pyanodons has made this harder, is by making the recipe for iron plates 8 pieces of iron ore to 1 plate. Yeah, that's a lot. But on the other hand, eventually you get recipes that will be something like 1 piece of iron ore to 10 iron plates, but also heavy oil and a bunch of other ingredients that you have to add to make this very long ore synthesis chain work, which is really cool. I like that a lot. It'll mean that iron ore will be a big limiting factor, even with increased richness, but we'll be able to work around that problem deeper into the game. Another thing that I didn't mention was that boxes are smaller. This is a hard mode change that you enable, and this makes it harder to buffer supplies. So rather than trying to like store up millions and millions of ash in boxes, you have to try and get rid of it earlier on, and all the other byproducts that you deal with in this game. So wooden boxes have 4 slots, iron boxes have 8, and I think steel boxes have 20. Anyway, so that said, let's get going on doing our first science, which means at the very beginning, getting some power going. I'm going to go down here and maybe fix this mess that I was making with the pipes so that I can plan ahead for it, for a second line of copper up there. I'll take care of that, and then take care of that, and then move some water up to where I want to set up my steam engines, and then we can get going. In general, the early phases of Pyanodons are even more hand done than anything in Factorio, which means that you cannot really automate science until you get maybe like 10 techs into the game. But on the other hand, they've made it so that these early techs, even if you're playing at high science multiplier, so like this wall is 6,000 automation science packs to unlock, and probably not something I'm never going to bother to unlock, or same thing with the Gundert. I'm not playing with biters on. But these few sciences that you have to get to make automation science be automated is the standard price. So you don't have to like handcraft 6,000 automation science packs. You only have to handcraft a few hundred. This is the first science we're going to go for. This one lets you make the carbolic oil that helps you mine stone, and you need stone because these automation science packs take bricks. Let me keep working on getting my... where do I want to push this through? Getting the... I need more iron plate already. As you can see, it's very, very resource hungry. I might even need to expand this early iron plate automation a little bit more. And I think I'm going to put my power system above the on the other side of this big coal patch. Okay, so let's put down another raw coal mining rig. Gonna see if this will work. I actually haven't tested this, but I think if I set... Oh, no, I want to move this over by 1. If I set this up to feed raw coal back and forth between these 2 miners, even though they're outputting onto a belt, they're going to feed each other, and then I can use that rather than try and backfeed from the previous miner, which is a little more there's more of a loop there, because I have to have this miner to make this miner work, and that miner to make that miner work, etc., etc. Yeah, I think this works. So we'll be able to just get rid of these. Move this inserter down here and save myself a little bit of material as well. Cool. All right. In general, I'm going to need like a full belt of raw coal just to make even a small amount of power. I probably don't have to fill in this whole thing right away, but I'll need a lot of it. Power is... Whoa. Does not work. Let's double check that this is... Yeah. It's never bopping it back and forth. Okay. Never mind. This experiment was a failure. Put my blueprints back the way they were. See, this is why I build these. Whoa. I just screwed something up there. This is why I do this in a test world, because it shows just how bad I can be at factorio sometimes. There. Okay. Get a few miners in, a few more belts, and we should be good to go. Not forget an underground or two. Crap, I really hope that was going to work. Shame. All right. So we start this, that starts working, we're all good. All right, now for a steam power setup. So this offers its own challenges. Where did I put it? Boiler line. Or this direction or the other. We'll go in that direction. Up a little higher. The reason this can be a little bit challenging is that, and I actually need a boiler. Is that these boilers need to eat 3.7 megawatts worth of fuel to keep themselves going. That means you need 3 inserters worth of raw coal to feed them. 3 inserters of raw coal, well, you can fit 3 of them on this back side, but you cannot fit 3 of them on this other side because you have to have an outlet for the, okay, oops. You have to have an outlet for the steam. So you can either just underfeed them, but I don't really like having the boilers blinking at me as they're get fed and then unfed and then fed and then unfed, or you can put the ash out toward that direction. Now this won't actually matter because I don't have any way to process that ash, so I'm going to be stuffing this ash into a box, and like I said last time, the ash stacks to 1,000, so for at least a short period of time, handling things with boxes will work out. But the time will come soon when that's no longer the case. Another thing to note is that, well, you'll see when I put down a steam engine, steam engines claim they're going to put out 7.6 megawatts. and you think, well, okay, 7.6 megawatts, and I'm putting 3.7 in, so I need 2 steam boilers per steam engine. Yeah, you do need 2 steam boilers per steam engine, but you're actually not going to get 7.6 megawatts out of them. The reason you don't get that is because the steam engines are 50% efficient. So you'll see that at the very bottom of the tooltip over there. So you'll only get like 3.7 megawatts out of this. And I'm going to need to get some trees. In general, I'm going to have to do a lot of tree chopping and stone gathering in the early phase because I won't be able to get those resources any other way. And I'm going to need them for power poles and also for signs. Yeah, so I'm already running low. Oh, I'm actually running low on copper. Well, I will go and fix that. While I'm fixing that, I will try and make a flora collector. Flora collector is the thing you need to collect native flora over here. Native flora is another ingredient that you need to get science. Oh, that's not looking great, is it? No, maybe it's fine. Are you mining over here? Oh, you're not mining because I missed this pipe segment. Okay, well, is that better? Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. Well, I need to get more logs to make more power poles. And I'll be able to run my flora collector, which I will put right here because I do not need much in the way of flora at the start. I'm just going to be tossing in the box because I'll be hand making my signs. So, give me a second and I'm going to run around and gather a whole bunch of trees and let some more iron plates and stuff being made, and then I'll come back to you real quick. Okay, so welcome back. I've got 200 logs and a bunch of stone, both of which I'll need in pretty great amounts, so I thought I'd go use that accelerated time to do that and not bore you with me just rambling and smashing some rocks like I'm on the chain gang. See, this is why I don't want to ramble at you, because my jokes are terrible. So we can get our native flora going. And with that, and some bricks that I will set up, brick production that I'll set up real quick, that will let us start working on handcrafting signs. So, get a very jank little brick production area set up. Oops. Okay. Yeah, that looked pretty good. I will go and first remember to empty out the ash, because I don't want to get my miners full of ash and then forget about them. I'll do that over here as well. Oh, why are you... What happened to you? Ah, you're already out of iron ore. Wonderful. Well, we'll fix that with a little bit more down here. Okay. Yep, that's probably going to happen quite a bit. I have increased the amount of ore on the map for myself to about 4 to 5 times what Pyanodons normally gives you. But that, considering I'm at a 300x tech multiplier, that's still going to pop up quite a bit. So I'll have to, especially for this downtime thing I'm planning, I'll have to make sure that my miners are set up to have backup supplies available. All right, so got a little bit of bricks. Nope, I stole your stone. And that should let me go ahead. Nope, not yet. I didn't grab the... oh, there's 2 more things I need to do. Let me not get ahead of myself. First, I need to make some dirt. Dirt is very important, and I need a oil extractor to do it. So, oil extractor needs a bunch of copper. Hopefully I've got a bunch of copper down here. If not, I might go ahead and set up a little bit more copper mining. I do have enough, so I can do that. Might as well set it up over here next to the water and power that I've got for the bioreserve. One more moment. But yeah, that copper supply is not going to be sufficient, so I'm going to need to add a bit more. Around, perhaps. A box. This is all you have to do to make soil. You can get it from anywhere. Soil is basically free. Free except you need some powder, of course. So with some soil, and this box is already full of native flora. Native flora that spoils, by the way. I've turned on spoilage for Pyanodon. It's hard mode, so of course we need spoilage in the game. But the spoilage is 3 hours and 20 minutes, so that's 200 minutes. I'm not too worried about that spoiling, and even if it does spoil, it's not that big of a deal. Alright, with that done, I should be able to handcraft. Yep, here's my first 4 automation. And this also means that I will need a lab. The automation science packs themselves are fairly slow to craft, but as long as I keep kind of on top of it and keep reminding myself to do it, I should be able to keep ahead of a lab, or maybe even 2 labs. So let's build a second lab. And put them over here. I always think that the Pyanodons labs, I really like the geodesic domes from the basic factorio. These guys kind of remind me of slightly differently. Kind of remind me of giant coffee makers, if I'm going to be honest. Those cheap drip coffee makers with as soon as you'll see it once I put in the science pack. This thing comes down, and this is where the water is coming down and going through the coffee, and then you're going to be able to study what you need. And maybe that's appropriate. Maybe the scientists just really need a lot of coffee to get this science done. Okay. So we will get our stone, some more bricks going. That's plenty. And let me try and remember this time where the automation packs are. They're somehow in the production section. That's kind of weird. And a little bit more soil. And that should actually be enough for our first science pack. While those craft, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more copper mining going, because that really is not going to be enough over here. That. Oh, and this one was not working either because it was misaligned. I wonder I wasn't getting enough copper through. I knew it looked finicky. Alright, well, now that's sorted out, and got more copper after all. Didn't even have to really finish up this other line. But it does let me show off what the intent of this setup is. So as you can see, like it does mine out its squares, all of there's full coverage of this copper. It doesn't use any undergrounds, underground belts, that is, to do this setup. And it is pretty easy to set up, I'd say, at least. Get rid of this a little bit. I can start feeding in coal. And everything is hunky-dory. So yeah, the coal comes over the top of this line. The iron, the copper ore, and the ash will be on the bottom of this line. And I'll be able to take this, I think, and merge it down to this line. Add a few more furnaces. And dramatically increase my coal production, or my copper production. No, that doesn't work that way, because that merges that line. There was a way I was going to do this, but I forget off the top of my head. Maybe it was just to add another... another furnace stack at the end there. Another thing that I've kind of goofed on is I prepared a whole bunch of these blueprints, but I did it like weeks ago when I was tinkering and thinking about doing this whole run. And yeah, in the meanwhile, I've forgotten half of what I had planned with these blueprints. I will next time try and refresh myself before I use them badly. Oh, but it does let me just show off one cool little trick here. So as you can see, I do not want copper to get down to this end of the belt. I want it to stop with this furnace. Now this furnace stack should generally be able to handle this copper, but occasionally one will be able to sneak through at the end, and we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'll just, since wire is free in Factorio 2.0, and you don't even need the circuit network research, what I can do here is say that this wire connection is basically for nothing, is stop this belt as soon as there's a piece of copper on it. Now, as soon as I get a piece of copper down here, maybe I will force this test by doing that. Yep, now the belt stops. This should be reading. You stopped because maybe it's this one that I need to stop. Yes, much better. It's this one that needs to stop, and this one will let the copper come onto the belt. Won't let it get off of the end of the belt, though. And that means these boxes will be able to pull from this belt, ignore the raw coal that comes through, and when I get when these furnaces start working and start putting their products down onto the belt, they'll work just fine. I also see another reason that I have not been getting much in the way of copper ore. All right, there we go. Now I've got plenty. And I should kick off my science again. Need some boxes to store up all this ash that I've been accumulating. this should make enough to get coal processing going. I'll just wait a minute for that. Make some more science while I'm at it. And be back in a flash. Okay, so I've got the first science completed. Hooray! I should say this with more enthusiasm. Hooray! Wait, no, I can't do enthusiasm. You get what you get. Okay, so this first science is really cool. It lets us make destructive distillation columns, which let us process coal into tar and coal gas. So let me make one of those. Let me get the resources to be able to make one of those. Good thing I improved this. Oh, maybe I didn't. Okay, well, I'll fix that in a minute. Good thing I got some more copper plates, because I'm going to need quite a few of those for these destructive distillation columns. What's going on here? Should just read belt contents and hold. You've got none on here, so why are you stuck? Yes, that was it. It was supposed to be copper ore equal to 0. Okay, so this is the real trick. If your copper ore is at 0 on this belt, let it flow. If any of copper ore gets stuck on here, then you need to stop and start pulling it off. Or give the furnace a chance to pull the copper ore off. Okay, so lots of copper now. And our destructive distillation columns. Where do I feel like setting those up? Well, they're going to pump out carbolic oil to help with our brick problem over here. Let me stuff in a few more stones to keep that moving. Let me take one back, so I'm going to need some furnaces. So yeah, I think I'll put them over here on this side. And that will let me do another cheap little thing. Hopefully this will work out. So the first recipe you want to look at is turning raw coal into 4 things. Like Pyanodons does not pull its punches. You're already having recipes that have 4 outputs, lots of byproducts. So it's a lot of fun here. But it takes 10 coal and turns it into 3 10 raw coal and turns it into 3 regular coal, 60 coal gas, and 30 tar, as well as a small amount of iron oxide. We'll do that. 2 of those. Need some pipes. Make this whole thing work. And since I'm very, very cheap, what I think I'm going to do... Let's flip that. By the way, love that flipping resources has been added to the base game, so that now I can kind of line up my liquid outputs and do very nice things that I used to install a mod for, and now I don't feel like I'm cheating so much because I'm not going to do that mod anymore. In general, I'm going to try and keep this as close to vanilla Pyanodons as possible, and only use mods when there's like no workaround, or it really annoys me. Maybe I'll install picker dollies so that I can make it easier to fix my mistakes like that. But I'm not that annoyed with myself yet, so we'll see. The cheap little thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to direct feed these machines so that I do not have to deal with even more inserters and belts and save a little bit of material. Okay. I think if I just do this, in this case, I will preload you with a whole bunch of raw coal. And then I should be able to have you fuel yourself and fuel the rest of these machines. is that enough fuel to keep you going? I might need to have a dedicated one just to fueling this setup. Yeah, let's do that instead. Okay. Now that should be plenty of rock coal being pumped in. And then with 2 of these, I only need one processor to take this raw coal, the regular coal that is produced, and turn it into yet more coal gas, yet more tar, and also some coke. Let's see, how do I want to line this up? I think what I'm going to do... Yeah, let's do... Nope. I want to be able to direct insert. In general, this sort of like direct insertion optimization stuff is utterly unnecessary at this point in the game. However, later on when I'm processing tons and tons of materials and trying to maintain my UPS while also kind of getting stuff done, it's going to be pretty important. So I'm just going to try and practice and make sure that I'm keep with it. Keep the idea of direct insertion in mind as often as possible. This does not let me do that. No. Okay. That was the right spot before. Okay, so this should be able to direct insert raw coal. Is that fast enough? Yeah, okay. 1.5 regular coal per second. 2 of these inserters just barely handles that. Of course, I need to power this setup, so I'm going to have to go grab power poles. Don't worry for the OCD among you. I'm also mostly OCD with power poles, but at this stage of the game, I think I will be less OCD because I don't want to use up less power poles. I don't want to have to chop more trees if I don't have to. Okay, so that's going to be the power output. Put that out down here. I'm going to need to deal with the... Can I cross all the way over here? Not quite. If I do this, move the power pole, and I'll be able to cross out. Okay. So this will be raw coal, the coal gas out here. And then I'm going to have to get rid of the byproducts. Coke is really not a byproduct. I want the coke. I will be able to use it to make steel and generally also use it as a fuel source. So it is an awesome product. But I have to make sure to output all of it. This is going to end up being a mixed belt. Okay. So that's the setup for this stuff. This will mostly be putting... anything I don't want to put out here. That's fine. I do want to blacklist the coal though. I've probably already got a little bit of on my belt, so I'll put that back in here. Okay, cool. So now I just need to do something with my tar and something with my coal gas. The something with my tar. Also, let's select a new research. Keep that moving along, and in fact, also keep my handcrafting moving along. So the something that I can do with my tar is to turn it into carbolic oil with yet another destructive distribution, blah, blah, blah. Destructive distillation. You know what? It's a DDC. From now on, I'm just going to call it a DDC. DDC sounds better anyway. So yeah, that'll be cool from now on. I've got a DDC over here. It's going to accept the coal and turn it into carbolic oil. Sorry, accept the tar and turn it into carbolic oil. It needs a little bit of raw coal itself. It's going to put out yet more coal gas, and it's going to need steam. Okay, well that was a fun twist that I had forgotten about. Shall we put you that so that the carbolic goes off that side? Okay. We'll move you over. That will be our tar. Only got one raw coal output then. Or one coal gas output then. That will work viably. So we'll make you go over here. Fortunately, I'm going to have to essentially waste that coal gas for quite a while. Essentially, in fact, worse than wasted. I'm going to have to burn it with a very expensive machine until I get another recipe to do something productive with it. Then need already out of belts. Wonderful. Let's make some more. Okay, and then you just need steam. Steam I can probably bring through here so I don't cover more of my coal patch than necessary. Perfect. Almost like I planned it. I totally did not plan it. If I was planning this, I would have had a blueprint and I would have stamped it down and then mucked with it a little bit as I rotated it uselessly, but it would have still been smoother than that whole mess. And yet again, you see why I prefer to pre-blueprint the stuff that I'm doing rather than do it on the fly. But I have to show that I can actually play this game like a normal person sometimes, so I might as well go ahead and do that. Okay, so that's set up. And now the product that we actually really want, which is carbolic oil, comes out here, and we can use carbolic oil to mine the stone. It's really not going to produce very much carbolic oil, so we'll just do a little bit here, a few miners. That'll be more than enough to keep us going. You guys can go out here. As I said before, it produces stone and kerogen. Kerogen is another hydrocarbon that we can burn. It will produce ash like coal, but it's nice that you don't have to drag another raw coal line over here to do this. So this is not getting enough raw coal because our outputs are full. There's rich clay. Rich clay we're only going to be able to put in a box for right now, I think. And the coal gas, which I think I need a high temperature furnace, high pressure furnace. Need some bricks to be able to burn that very expensively and turn it into ash, which I don't even want. But hey, that just makes me look forward to the future where that coal gas will be used productively. Okay, we'll put that over here. reminding myself to make small parts and jamming up my hand construction queue. Put that into yet another box for the ash. And now our coal gas should be sorted. Yeah, so you can see why I don't like this recipe. To make just a little bit of carbolic oil, we have to burn up our coal gas, which costs 2 megawatts to run this this high pressure furnace. So that's already expensive. A bunch of DDCs that are using up raw coal, and we're really not going to make much stone out of this. This might have been a little premature to put it down here. I also need to do something with this carriage-in. So what shall I do with it? The best option would actually be to go ahead and burn it in a boiler. So let's grab a boiler over here. Can I put it? No, I probably need to put it up here somewhere. One place that I have water as well. Not exactly the optimal solution this is, but you know what? This is all the starter base. Everything is the starter base. Even once I'm 700 hours into this game, it's still going to be the starter base. And I will just keep telling myself that to excuse all of my messes. So, that said, this does cause a little bit of a problem because now the miner is not feeding itself, but now it will. This is going to block up, so I'll take care of this at the moment. Another thing I want to do. Yeah, let's do it that way. Okay, so I want this device, this furnace, to just power itself off of oak and collect up all my iron oxide. Use the same trick that I was using before to make sure that no iron oxide passes. Go. And that'll make me a tiny little bit of iron plate. Not very much. Takes 20 iron oxide to do that. And then I will turn this belt over. Set up some more furnaces to turn this into brick. And for the third time in a row, use the exact same trick as before to make sure that no stone passes. Okay. Now all of that I will be able to run into a boiler to produce some steam for myself. Fortunately, coke in particular. Oh, actually, I want to box up some coke. I do not want all of it to go get burned. I think I can let some of it run through, but I want to have some on hand to be able to make steel with right off the bat. So yeah, let's collect some of this. And burn up the carriage, and I will store off the coke. Okay, there we go, all set. We're going to store off some coke to be able to make steel with later. Carriage is going to get burnt by some steam boilers here. This is also not an ideal setup. Yeah, okay, let's fix this before I forget about it. Remember, this is all the starter base, so any jank will be taken care of later by me. Okay. Yeah, let's only use 2 inserters on each side. The coke, the Carrigan has 2 megawatts per piece, so it produces a little bit less ash. And then once the coke starts flowing through, it has 5 megawatts per piece, so much less ash. So that's going to be nice for a while. Okay, steel processing is halfway done. I'm going to throw in the science that I've created. And yeah, I don't think I want to end this episode quite yet. I would like to get steel going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to time dilate for a bit, because I'm going to supplement the stone that I produce with Carbolic with a bunch of additional stone that I mine up. I'm going to check why this is not working. Why are you not working? Oh, I'm already maxed out on ash. This is a good reason for this not to be working. Compared to like me having broken the setup, at least. But it also probably means that I have a bunch of other ash to go clean out of the system up here. Yeah, none of this is running. It's all full of ash. One of the future technologies will let us take care of that ash, and I really look forward to having that. But for right now, it's all just me, the factorio engineer / ash janitor. So I've got a bunch of ash to collect over here. I do need a little bit of it too, because it's yet another ingredient in automation science. Or it's great that it's an ingredient in automation science up front, because I'm already getting so full of it. Look, I've already got, what is that, 12 boxes worth of ash. But, yeah. Yeah, now I'm going to go and make a bunch of stone. Craft some small parts while I'm doing it. And I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So while I was fast forwarding, I created a truly stupendous amount of small parts and gathered a bunch of resources. And this should let me not have to go do that again anytime soon, I hope, and let us make a lot more progress. We also managed to get steel processing done, which is going to be fantastic. It's going to let me make the steel axe, which would have made that whole episode a little bit shorter, but that's okay. And also I'm going to be heading for the first iron ore processing upgrade down here. Is this it? Yes, it is. So this one will let me turn iron ore into processed iron ore and stone, and then that processed iron ore gets turned into iron plates. Now this recipe is a little bit more efficient. I think it's 5, it ends up being 5 iron ore to 1 plate instead of 8 to 1, so that is great. But the other thing that's really nice is it makes us some stone. So while we are busily expanding our infrastructure using all this iron, we also get a bunch of free stone, which is just fantastic. So that is the next thing we're going to go for. Have to do at least one research first, but that's okay. I've got all the materials that I need to handcraft a whole bunch more automation science. I think I might have overloaded myself with soil. Yes, I have. So that's still great. I think I will set up... Yeah, I will go ahead and set up some very simple steel production, and then we'll call it an episode. So, to do steel plate production, we need an advanced foundry. We need a... Where are those things? Called burners? Yeah, here they are. We need a burner, and I think that's it, basically. And of course, we'll need a bunch of iron ore and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, where do I want to set this up? Because I'm going to need a significant chunk of iron ore to do it. I think we're going to put it over here. No, this is kind of stretching the point. But I also will need the coke that's coming in from up above. So yeah, why don't we put it over here somewhere? Down here maybe? No. No, let's be kind to ourselves. Let's put it here. So to make the steel, we need limestone, iron ore, and coke. But we also need to heat this thing up to the correct temperature. And that means we'll need wood coming in. And we'll also need a soil extractor. So yeah, this is a hard mode feature. What it does is it means that you cannot power these off of the... Maybe I'll make another one of those. You cannot power these off of the electrical grid. You have to make them, you have to power them with heat. You don't have heat pipes unlocked at this point, so you have to kind of directly attach the wood burner to the advanced foundry. But two of these advanced foundries can be powered off of a single burner. The single burner looks like it's only going to provide 500 kilowatts, and each of these uses up 1.2, but this is 500% efficient, so in actuality, it provides just enough heat to run 2 of those. I'm going to hand manufacture a bunch of wood. The reason to turn wood into... the logs into wood is because the wood actually has more fuel value when processed into... the logs have more fuel value when processed into wood. 4 logs is 16 megawatts, and then the 20 wood is 40 megawatts. So it's actually a big efficiency difference. And I'll hand feed this for now because I do not have anything to not hand feed it with. Need to attach my soil extractor, which is going to be the thing that provides us with limestone. Oops, I need to have 2 of those since I'm going to make 2 steel production units. Set this to the limestone recipe. And get some water over there. Okay, so that's done. I'll start putting in oak. Then how do I want to handle this? Oh, I'm way out of iron plates. Grab a few more of those. I need to put iron ore in here somehow, so I'm just thinking about how to do that. Okay. I think what I'm going to do this. Probably need to reset up my little trick here. Oh, it's already set up. I just need to connect the wire. And then I'll get some iron ore coming in here. For now, I'm just going to make a jank version of that. It really helps to have all these small parts already crafted. It means that I barely have to do anything when I'm creating when I need more belts or plates or anything like that. The small parts are the lion's share of the crafting time. Tons of belts right away because I have that positive small parts already ready for me. Assume this guy was not doing that much anyway. And hopefully this will be enough. Yeah, 2 inserters is enough to run this. Actually, I do not need the second oak inserter. Okay, So this just needs to come up to temperature, and then I will be able to start producing some steel. Perfect. Can I make enough room? Yeah, I think I can. Okay. I'll be able to put my steel out on this side. And it's just going to end up going in a box anyway. So the final thing I really need to do is set up a way to make sure that my burner keeps getting more wood. And I think I'll do that up here. I'll do this up here. As per usual, it's all going to be coming from a box anyway, but I can plan ahead for making a few more foundries in the future. I'm going to need a lot of steel, and that plus, let's put, already feeling low on wood. Let's put a few logs in the box here, turn it into wood, and that should power me up. Temperature, these need to be at 450 degrees, so it needs to get all the way up to the almost max temperature before the steel will start getting produced. But that said, this setup should work. Maybe I'll wait for a second to make sure it works. Here, we're turning the tar into carbolic oil. Looks like I might be a little bit low on steam to do that, so I might set up another steam boiler or two while I wait for the steel to get produced. But we're almost ready to call this an episode. Hopefully you've been enjoying this. I think Pyanodons itself is an amazing challenge. It's fun to think through all these recipes and try and keep them in your brain. Keep all the byproducts straight and make sure that you're not messing up your production chains. I love that a lot of these recipes are close to reality in the sense that, like, okay, it's not perfect. Carbolic oil, it really isn't necessary to quarry stone, but a whole lot of these things like turning raw coal into regular coal and coal gas and tar, and all the tar distillation processes are kind of close to reality in terms of the chemicals involved, so you get to learn a little bit about them while you're thinking about what you're producing. And there we go, 450 degrees. This is going. This guy is not going. I need to do this. I'm not getting water through. Good thing I stuck around to watch this. How about now? Feel a little bit of limestone from you to get you going. And this first steel plate is created at 2 hours, which is not a great time at all. Like, I'm not going super fast. This is not a speedrunner run. Partially because it's hard mode, partially because I have not optimized myself to be a speedrunner here. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh, filled with ash. Gonna have to do something with that next episode. But till then, have a good one.